The first thing I was going to do was record an intro video, and that's just not where my head's at. So here we are. Um, the year was 2005, and there was this website called either ratemyface.com or ratemypic.com. I want to say face. It was literally a website where you went on and rated people's faces on a scale of 1 to 10. Could you imagine doing that now? So anyway, I was scrolling through, clicking away, rating people, and I come across this dude who was like easily the hottest dude I've ever seen in my life. And I rate him a 10. And like a little while goes by, I think that same night, I get a notification that he had rated me a 10 as well. I'm like, holy shit. Nobody in their right mind would do that. So it was a very basic website. Like I think that you could message back and forth, but it was pretty primitive. So we exchanged our MySpace information, if you remember what that was. And we chatted for a little bit on MySpace, just like over the course of like a week or two. And at one point, we exchanged phone numbers. And I don't even know if I had my own cell phone at the time. I think I had to use either my parents' cell phone or our landline. But I remember laying in bed chatting with him and realizing he lived a little too far away from me. And I know I must not have had a vehicle at the time because I remember thinking there's no way my parents are going to take me and drop me off at his house. So um, we kind of lost touch after that. And fast forward a couple years, it's 2007, and something makes one of us contact the other. I think he messaged me, and we picked up where we left off. And one day I noticed I made it into his top 8 on MySpace, and I don't know if you know this or not, but that was a pretty big fucking deal. And so moved him up in mine, and then eventually I made it to his number 1 spot. And I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. We're moving through the ranks. So I put him in my number 1 spot. And we're talking, and we realize we live a lot closer to each other now, and I can drive. I'm old enough to have my own cell phone. And one night, we decided to meet. And that was it. I don't think we spent a night away from each other after that. So, fast forward a couple months, we were being reckless and find out I'm pregnant. Stupid. Should have known that was coming, but in my mind, I was like, I'm fucking invincible. So, find out that I'm pregnant. Go to the first appointment. I think I was only 6 weeks along. So we had to fast forward a few weeks or to the 20-week mark so we can find out what we're having. And, we went, we did the thing. And, the next day, I get a phone call from the doctor. Her heart fully wasn't formed. And he did not trust himself to move forward with it. So he referred me to a specialist. So I went and saw the specialist. I think at that point, he and I had broke up. I was pretty bitchy. Um, that pregnancy was terrible. And looking back, I think maybe my body was reacting to the pregnancy and making me a crazy person. Because let me tell you, I was a crazy person. So we had split up, and I went to this appointment with the specialist, with my stepmom, and we did more in-depth ultrasound and amniocentesis. I was given the option to terminate the pregnancy or try, but I was also told if she made it, it probably wouldn't be very long. So I chose not to terminate the pregnancy. Looking back, I wonder if that was the right choice, but at the time, that's a choice I made. So we deal with it. I think, so that was 20 weeks. He and I got back together shortly after that. The dynamic kind of shifted a little bit. And I think I was probably still rude and bitchy, because I am on a good day. But he dealt with it. At 30 weeks, something was going on. So they put me in the hospital on bed rest. And I stayed there for 2 weeks. And they let me out for the 4th of July, which I thought was great. To see the real world for a day. And then I was right back. At 32 weeks, it was time. Pretty much, now or never, let's just do it. So we did. And I went in knowing there was a chance she wouldn't make it out of the operating room. But they cut me open at 10:24 in the morning on July 24th. And she cried. And if she cried, it meant she was alive. So she went to the NICU, and there was a lot wrong. Her heart had some defects. Her brain had some defects. She had something called Turner syndrome. It was weird swelling all over her body. That meant there was an issue with her kidneys, I'm assuming. Maybe her liver. I don't know how that works. She was in Flint at Hurley for a little while. And let me just tell you, it was gross. It was disgusting. That NICU was a fucking wreck. And I was taking pictures of it, documenting it, and I should have pursued this. But at one point, they just agreed there was not much else they could do, and they wanted to ship her to Ann Arbor. So that was her plan. They strap her up in this ridiculous ass space shuttle looking incubator and sent her to Ann Arbor. So I wasn't working at the time. And they put me in the Ronald McDonald House, which is fantastic. If you get the opportunity to donate to the Ronald McDonald House, do it. It saves people like me. So she's at University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. I'm at the Ronald McDonald House, hours from home. And I see her every day. She's just not really getting better. They tell me she's got a staph infection, and I know it came from Hurley. But it is what it is. They're trying to fight it. And my sister comes down, sees her. My mom comes down, my stepmom. Her dad, I don't know. That's for another time. But on day 9, I begged him to come down. Please come down. Tomorrow's a Thursday. It's your one day off. Please come down here. Stay the night. See Grace tomorrow. So he did. We go over to the hospital first thing Thursday morning. And they say, we've been trying to get a hold of you. Which there's no way they had been, because I had 2 phones at that point. I went from having no cell phone to having 2 cell phones. I don't understand it. They say, we've been trying to get a hold of you. She keeps crashing. We've tried what we can try. And it's getting to the point where we're going to have to do manual chest compressions. And we don't think that if we do that, her body can handle it. So my sister's there, and we get pulled into a conference room. And they asked me the question, if she crashes again, do you want us to end life support? So I said yes. They left the room and came back less than a minute later and said that she was crashing again. And so they ended life support. Gave her morphine to make her comfortable. No. I held her while she passed away. And yeah. The feeling of life leaving somebody's body. It's not like anything I've ever felt before. And so that was that. They asked if I wanted to donate their body to science. And I said no. And I regret that. Maybe she could have answered questions for somebody else, you know? So I said no. And we had her funeral. I had her cremated. She's still with me. Mike and I tried. We tried for a while. A couple months. Not a while, but a couple months. And I was a wreck. It's not his fault. We healed differently. And I think it hurt me that he wasn't healing the way that I was healing. And it made it very difficult for us. And we split up. We didn't talk for a really long time. Years. And that was in 2008. Fast forward to when she would have been 10. We were actually able to get our heads out of our asses and go down to Ann Arbor, where she passed away. There's this really cool thing the University of Michigan does. Every year, they plant a tree for all the babies that were lost the year before. Well, obviously they had planted a tree for Grace and all the babies that passed that year. And so we went down there. We found the tree. It was cool. We had lunch, talked, chatted, and we've remained in contact. We've hung out a handful of times since then. I wish it was more. What's today? It's the 11th. On the 24th, she will have been 16. And that's a really long time. And that's a big birthday. And I'm a terrible fucking driver, so I can't fathom teaching her how to drive. But hopefully, Mike and I can go to Ann Arbor again this year. Celebrate. Life is hard. Healing is hard. I don't know that I'll ever heal. I have a son now. He's 9. He's the best. We were putting together a puzzle last night. And I couldn't do it. And I said to him, I'm just really sad today, buddy. But tomorrow, I'll be better. And he said, I don't think you will. So, 16 years. And that's where I'm at.